Good morning and welcome. So glad you dropped by today. My name is Lynda Phippen. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Ontario, Canada. I know it's July, but I am going to show you some Christmas cards. And it really will be December before we know it because time just seems to go by so quickly. So it is Christmas cards. So I hope you enjoy them because I had lots of fun doing them. Let's get started. Leaves of Holly is our Christmas card that we're going to be working on. And I paired it up with Merriest Moments. I used the sentiments from here and the dies for the poinsettias. So our card looks like this, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. Quite a simple card, but when you add gold, there's nothing like gold to make a card look so classy. So the first thing that I have got all our pieces here. This paper is specialty paper from Celebration, and there's gold, silver stripes, gold and silver dots, and well, gold's here somewhere, and well, maybe they're underneath the gold. There we go. So there's lots of festive colors or designs to work with, so that's what I've been using for this card. So we're 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4.25, and then we just start to layer. I do have all of the measurements listed below. So I made this the entire size of the card because I didn't want to lose any of the gold. Then we have some cherry cobbler. And there's nothing like the traditional reds and greens. Okay, and I did put it down just a little bit. And the fun part is I've added some gold, just 1/4 inch. And that's one of those tricks when you're layering too. You don't need to have a entire sheet underneath. So it's almost cheating, but not really. There we go. The joys of glue. And I think this time I'll just put it along here. Maybe I won't get it on my fingers. There we go. And then we just need to give it a little trim. And save that for another time. And if you overlapped on the other side, just give that a trim as well. This DSP is part of the suite, and it is full of poinsettias that overlap. But what I decided to do was take the dies, the poinsettia dies from the Merriest Moments, just center the middle of the flower on any one of those, and then you have a perfect poinsettia. So I really like that idea. And I mean, you could hand cut it, there's no problem doing that, but I had the dies from last year, or it's out of the current catalog, but that's what I did for the poinsettias, which turned out well. The sentiment has its own lovely die, and it has a little piece of border around it. Now, you may have thought this was obvious, but I wasn't quite sure what this part of the die was. So it looks obvious, and after I finally placed it together, I'm like, of course it fits. But I didn't realize that when I had it. It was just, when it's by itself, it's not quite sure what it was. But anyway, that's what it is. So I've layered it with gold, and we can just put this on. And then I just started layering the leaves, and you can put them on some dimensions. Dimensions are always nice when you're putting cards together. So we have one holly leaf there, another holly leaf here, maybe we'll put it this way. You just don't want to cover up the words. Okay, so it's going to go down a little bit. And maybe we'll just bring this one over a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Then I took the largest die, and one of the neat things to do with your flowers to give them a little bit of dimension is just kind of fold them up a little bit, give them a little turn. And again, you want to, I still got some of those words. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to have to just trim that little piece there. Oh my goodness. You know, when I put this together the first time, it was much more cooperative. Might want to glue that down. Okay, so we'll add a few more pieces of our flowers. Convince that one to go where it needs to go. And we've got another poinsettia up here. And these other little ones can go wherever there is room for them. And there's the other one. Okay, that is, oh, there's just a few more little pieces that we can put. So like pine leaves here to finish it off. And those come from the inside of one of the dies of the leaves here. So very, very versatile set for sure. And then I added some red rhinestones. And because they're so tiny, the odd number that I'm using is 5. And sometimes the glue is just too much for everything to manage. And that is our first card. Now I did put on the inside some more of the DSP, and I thought that you could actually write a little note on the lines and just add a poinsettia, and there we have our first card. So I'm very happy with the colors and how that turned out. And here is our second card with silver on it instead of gold and red on red, but it did turn out quite nice. So I am going to show you how I put this together. The first thing I want to do is to put on the ribbon, and it looks like the ribbon gets kind of lost in there, but it has the texture on it, and this tiny little piece of silver twine helps to bring out the color of it. Now don't be afraid to put a little bit of seal on the ribbon itself, because we don't want to lose it. And I did measure 2 1/4 down. So I hope I have it straight. But you know, you can always just give it a little encouragement. There we go. And the same thing you can do, because we're going to put the circle over here. So we do want to kind of secure the twine as well. So we've got that stuck in the middle. Fold it under. And there it is. Needs a little bit more encouragement. There we go. Okay. Just adjusted. It doesn't quite feel straight. Okay, and then we're going to put on the front of the card. Now, I did emboss this red with the timeworn 3D embossing folder, and it is really very subtle and soft. And I don't know if you can see it so much, but you can just, there is texture there, and it does look very subtle, which is the look I wanted. Okay, there we go. Now I just took the designer series paper, and it has a whole sheet of these lovely poinsettias. And I just picked the one I wanted. I used the two large circles. So find one that you would like to use, and that's the one I picked out. And then with the larger circle, I used the silver. Silver foil. So I just put that on there. And I already have the dimensions on the back. So just decide where you would like to have that. And there we go. Now, the best part of this card was using these textured elements, and they're all kind of holly berry kind of elements. Now, here's two ways to use whichever way you would like. So our markers, you just take and color them on. So just like that. I didn't do any shading, just simply colored them. So I did that with real red. And then I took the mossy meadow and did the stems. So that is one way to do them. I found on this particular card, though, the berries kind of got lost. So I will show you what I did with that instead. So this is the Versamark, and I simply tapped it on top of the stamp pad. Okay. Then I used our new tray and just put the embossing powder on it, and I think I had it on the wrong side. Just a second, it's supposed to stick. So there we go. And then I used the embossing heat tool and melted it, and this is how it turned out. So you see how shiny that is? Very nice. So either way would work. But I used the embossing method. Okay, so I've already put some glue dots on here, and I just want to make sure that I get. So for this card, I wanted to put one on each side. So again, the glue dots are already on there, on these two anyway. Okay, now these ones I didn't put on because I was just going to show you how. Now I didn't put one on every single berry. And of course this is not going to work for me. There we go. And I did that on one of my other ones, but I'll show you how I fixed that because they are very delicate, to be quite honest. I think it's chipboard, so of course you don't want that to happen, but it will happen. So I put it on the bottom, and to cover up my little mistake, we'll just slip it on there, and the glue dot came off, so we'll get another one. Oh, it's so funny how these things happen. Okay, but I did have one break on me when I was practicing as well. But I did the same thing, just kind of covered it up. Okay, let's see. We just so that was just to show you how delicate they can be. So just be careful. I use the sentiment joy, and what I like to do is you can cut it this way. Okay, so this is the way I'm going to do it for this one. You cut it in half, then it becomes a border. So you can put there's that on the top, then you put this on the bottom. Now when I did it for the card that I showed you, I did it on the sides, and it really is a very nice effect. So let me show you on this card. See, I cut it and I did it on both sides, so you decide which one you like. Then we'll just put some dimensions on here. Oh, I know why I didn't put the dimensions on here. Okay, so we're gonna put them in between. And see, I'm covering up that little piece. And there we go. That is how easy that card is. But I did do some fun stamping for the inside of the card, so let me quickly show you that. I took the poinsettias from the Merriest Moments, and I put, now remember this is on the inside of the card, so I put 3 poinsettias, then I took the early expresso and just dabbed it into any of the centers that got on the card. And of course, you know how you can put as many flowers or at least amount of flowers. And this is Sahara sand, and I've done the stamping off, so kind of a second generation, so that they're not really kind of overpowering the flowers. But I thought it did look nice how that turned out. And then we'll just add that to the inside panel, and that completes card number 2. Well, not quite completes because I didn't put on my rhinestones. So let's just get this on. And for some reason I like to turn my card around because I seem to be able to see the three edges to line that up. So there we go. And then we'll just put on some red rhinestones, the same rhinestones that we put on the other card. But I like the sparkle. And it's nice when they show up. And add this little extra sparkle. So I realize that it's early, Christmas in July, but you know, December will be here before you know it. And there is our card. And our other card is right here. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed these cards. I did enjoy doing them, even though it doesn't quite feel like Christmas, but I'm excited that I've got some cards started. So it'll be here before you know it. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for subscribing and your kind comments, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.